First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, B'chakodash, the one that should have passed the earth, the most peace, blessings, and safety to the Lord's elect scattered throughout the four corners of the planet Earth, pushing this word in humility and sincerity, as commanded by Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, B'chakodash. And you see here, it says maximum security, war zone-like barriers, armed patrol. Maximum security war zone-like barriers, armed patrols could greet holiday shoppers. You see? It says in what looks like a war zone, coiled security barriers are being deployed at the Grove Mall in South California to prevent mass theft during holiday shopping. So basically, you know, you moving into that phase of martial law, you know. As a result of the prophecy, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, because Jake and, you know, yeah, pretty much Jake is robbing these, you know, shopping centers, you know, designer stores and jewelry stores and, you know, electronic stores. They're just mobbing, you know, I forget what it's called, a flash mob, you know. I think that's what it's called, where a group of people, usually over, you know, 50, they all meet at one spot and they just rob the place. You know, they overtake it. You know, they overthrow it. And that's what Jake has been doing, because let's go get the scripture. 2nd Ezra chapter 15. In verse 14, it says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. The modern day sword is the gun. Verse 16, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Right, because ultimately Esau can block off a section of a city, but he can't block off the whole entire world. But that's pretty much what he's going to try to do. He's trying to block off the whole world with his New World Order and his agenda, you know, in his way. Pretty much he's trying to make you come through the gate, you know, but we don't want to go through that gate. We want to go through the straight gate. It says, for there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. Sedition is uprising against an authority of government. And it said invading one another. So when you're going into a place, an establishment, a business establishment, and you're not spending no money, but you're leaving out with products, that's you invading. Let's look up that word invade. The definition of invade, it says to enter for conquest or plunder. You see? And that's pretty much what they've been doing. In LA, pretty much in LA, not so much in New York, because New York is a tight place, so it ain't too much places to run. But, you know, places like California, they've been doing these things. It says to enter for conquest or plunder. And plunder mean you stealing. To encroach upon or taking. Plunder mean taking. To spread over or into as if invading. To affect injuriously and progressively. You know, so they set these businesses back. That's not progressively. Let me look at the etymology of invade. It says enter in a hostile manner. Late 15th century, from the Latin invadere, to go, come, or go into, enter violently, penetrate into as an enemy. Right. So that's what they've been doing to these businesses. They've been running up in these businesses, you know, and treating them as enemies. It says a sale assault. So now that gives Esau order ab chaos. Now that gives Esau order ab chaos, means is Latin for order from chaos. And that's the motto of the top international bankers, the wicked elite of Esau Edom. That's one of their mottos, Order ab chaos. Okay, so they got the chaos because of the conditions that the people is in, because of the financial and economic state of this nation. You know, now the people are desperate, you know, and they do stupid things more often. They said because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. What's the love? What's really the love of the creation is the commandments of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, you know, which is the which without that is sin. And he said because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. So the people is pretty much dwelling in wickedness, you know, more and more often. It says, if that makes sense, it says assail, assault, make an attack on, from in, meaning in, and from vadir, which means to go or walk, you know, so pretty much it means to walk in. It means to walk in. And it says march aggressively into another's territory by military force for the purpose of conquest and occupation. To intrude upon, infringe, approach, violate, occupy in large numbers. All right, that's pretty much it. It says, for there shall be sedition among men, 2 Esdras 15-16. For there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, right? So now, you know, they could say a certain capacity. Well, if this part that's fenced off, if the capacity is over 500 people, you can't let nobody else in to shop, you know? And now they got to start counting people, and now they got to start patrolling who comes in and who comes out. You see? It says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. This is the reaction to the previous verse. This is what the authoritative reaction is going to be to what the people is doing. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride, okay, the pride of these people, okay, because they don't understand that Esau about to come down on them with the sword, okay? You know, they don't understand that Esau is coming down with the sword. And it's not going to be pretty. It said the slaying of my people shall be from one end of the earth to the other. You know, and the sword is famine. The sword is pestilence. The sword is the gun. The sword is the drone. It's all of that. It's a regular sword. The sword is any instrument or weapon used to kill. It says, for because of their pride, because all these people want to do is believe in this man's system and march and tell you how they're going to reform it, you know, and how they're going to prosper here and how just to forget about it. And we in a new era. Because of their pride, they're going to walk right into this slaughter. 2 Esdras 9, it said, my people was led as a flock to the slaughter. It says, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. And this is the reaction to what the people is doing. This is how Esau going to come down on you for what you're doing. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. You see? And they got the ships still out there. Them ships are still out there, man. You know? So they're rationing this food right now. And a lot of it is going to be rotten. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. So it's going to be a great an evil time, you know. But anyway, I saw this. So they got barbed wire. It says coiled. It don't say barbed wire, but it says coiled security barriers. but it likened unto barbed wire. So they giving you that. They conditioning you. You know, they're conditioning you. They said the way of the wicked seduceth them. Let's get that. Proverbs 12:26. The righteous is more excellent than his neighbor, but the way of the wicked seduces them. You know, so pretty much they're doing this underhandedly. You know, they're by gradualism. You know, step by step. The devil takes steps. You know, and he doesn't like to skip steps, but he will because he's running out of time. Revelation. 2 Corinthians 2:11. Least Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. You know, his devices are pretty much his methods, you know, and his schemes and his plots and plans and how he goes about things, you know. And we are not ignorant of how he does things, because he got the same playbook from 6,000 years ago. He got the same playbook. You know, this guy ain't changed. You know, he's the accuser of the brother. You know, he is the deceiver. You know, he's the perverse. Esau, Edom. It says 2 Corinthians 2:11, at least Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. You know, and also the spiritual demons say, you know, we're not ignorant of his devices either, man. You know, and how he comes and with his temptations, you know, and how often they come and when they come. We know. And we got to stand up and fight, you know, and rebuke them in the name of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Hey, so anyway, I just wanted to report that. Lord, when it's edifying, call me Shalom.